Hello and welcome to Get Into Games on Air, a podcast about board games and the people who play them. As always, my name is Craig, and as also always is my co-hostess, Rebecca.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm alright.
Well done. Congratulations. This is episode 19. Another little look into UKGE.
A deeper dive.
A deeper dive, a slightly deeper dive. We're going to get our feet a little bit more moist.
I don't like that word.
Okay? Soggy.
That's better.
All right, then. We're going to get knees deep. I almost said something else that would not have been appropriate there. Into the UKGE UK Games Expo 2024. Talking about events and things you can do and all that good sort of stuff. But as always, first of all, we will talk about what has hit our table, and then we'll get right into the nitty and the gritty of UKGE. So, so what has been hitting our table?
Well, it seems like quite a long time ago since we did a podcast, but because we pre-podcasted,
we banked them.
The Star Wars episode so that we could release it for Star Wars Day.
We did.
So it feels like a long time ago since we last podcasted.
Sat in this very studio.
Yes. So we have played Star Wars Unlimited, as we played that on May the 4th.
Yep.
When we got back from
the Galactic Gathering.
Which was very, very cool. And then we had a go at Timeline Twist, the Star Wars version. I don't know if you want to say a little bit about that.
Yeah, so Star Wars Timeline, it's timelines, the game timelines, which is it's normally like historical moments, and you'll have cards, and you have to basically put the cards in order. But with the Star Wars version, it is putting the cards in the order of the movies. So you have 9 movies. Well, you'd have 10 movies because you have Rogue One and you have Han Solo. So you have 11 movies worth of Star Wars, and you have to basically play the cards in the right order to win the game. There's a cooperative and a competitive mode. We played the cooperative mode. It was quite good. It was interesting. It wasn't. I mean, if you are a Star Wars fan and really enjoy the movies and that kind of thing, I think there's not a huge amount of challenge.
I mean, it was challenging for me.
Yeah, I think...
But you were like, well, this definitely happens before this. And I was like, okay, if you say so.
Yeah, I think there's some bits that are there are little difficult ones, but you can kind of work it out. I think it's a good little game. I think it's definitely for younger fans of the franchise, and it's obviously definitely not for people who are... It's a strange one, because...
We still didn't score that many points, though. It wasn't like an epic score.
No, because there's the whole luck of the cards. If you happen to have these cards and you play specific scenes already out, and then you draw up scenes that would go in between, there's nothing you can do with the cards. So you will always lose points because of that. So there is a huge amount of card luck. And I also think if you are really into the history ones, fine. Everyone knows a bit about history, but... Or doesn't know, and people can fill in the gaps. But if you know a lot about an IP specifically, then the challenge has gone a little bit, because you don't, like, it's not too difficult, really. And that was that. And
and then we played some Ecosystem Savannah, some Kabuto Sumo, some Cascadia. That was a little games nights that we had with my sister.
Yeah, that was quite nice, just to get some of the lighter games and just to...
And then we bought Wormspan because we were interested to find out what it was like.
Yeah.
Quite like dragons, like Wingspan, and just wanted to try it out. So we played a game of Wormspan. In fact, we played a couple of games of Wormspan now. We have some pretty cute upgrades.
Yeah, we got thank you Tinkertown Games for sending us your incredible upgrades for
and I really like that game.
It's interesting. There's a lot more. I think there's a lot of thinking. There's a lot of strategy. Obviously, there's a lot of learning the cards. With Wingspan, you have millions of cards, and with Wormspan, you have lots of cards. There just seems to be a bit more strategy, excavating the caves before you go and gaining the benefits. You're not necessarily stuck to a certain number of turns, and you're never getting less turns. In theory, you can always, if the cards come out right, you can have more turns by the end of the game.
I think it's more. I find it more strategic thinking about what you're going to do because you can't do everything.
Yeah.
Whereas Wingspan is more about how the cards join up and you gain the benefits as you go back through the birds.
Yeah.
This is more about what do you choose to do when and how to get optimum resources.
I'd agree with that. Yeah, the cards, the engine that you're building with the birds, they kind of bounce off each other. Do this, lay this egg, do this, do this, do this. They really bounce off each other well. There are some from the few plays that we've had in Wormspan that do that. I just feel that you're right. Your actions, how you strategically take your turn, is going to depend on what you're doing rather than what the dragon bird creatures can do.
Aye. Then we played some Omnishanti, and then we played a couple of other new games to us. So we played Doomlings.
Doomlings is really fun. It's like in that kind of card game, exploding kitten kind of realm, which we're never the biggest fan of exploding kittens and that kind of game. It's fine, but Doomlings is really interesting.
It's like end of the world kind of, and there are these. I don't know what
you're set collecting, aren't you? Or... They're Doomlings.
The Doomlings. Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. But it's quite tongue-in-cheek. There's lots of like humorous quotes on the cards.
Yeah,
and I enjoyed reading those out. And then you
really
get
fun.
Different. You mix it up because you get different
catastrophes and stuff that's going on. It's quite fun. It's quite interesting the way the cards will work together. It's quite cute artwork. It's relatively quick. I think it's probably 15, 20 minutes, if that. Yeah. Plays up to quite a high player count, I believe, as well. 4 or 6, I think 6.
Yeah.
It's fun.
It was nice. And then we played Rolls to Riches.
Yeah.
Which reminds me kind of Yahtzee poker that we used to have of old.
Yeah.
You essentially are rolling dice, choosing which pips you want based on cards that have values next to those.
Yeah, so there's cards with there's these look like coasters of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you randomly draw out an amount of money on each one of them, and then you're rolling dice and you're placing. If you roll 3 ones, you might choose to put your 3 ones on the 1, and then you're trying to basically put more dice on a certain number to win that number to get the money. And it's like either when the cards are run out, whoever's got the most money, or you can do a race first to $1 million. Yeah. It's quite fun.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's like I used to have a Yahtzee Texas Hold'em poker kind of game. It reminds me a bit of Roll for It. I think
it would be a fun party game. You've had a few drinks, maybe.
Yeah.
And it's the end of the night, and you want an easy to play, but quite fun game with your friends.
Not
that
bad
would
at all.
Be when I choose to play. Then was it yesterday? No, the day before, Saturday. We decided to play some of our games that have been on the shelf for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
After having listened to Meeple to Meeple and the Shelf of... What was it called? Not the Shelf of Shame.
The...
Shelf of... Oh, I did actually listen.
The Shelf of...
Yeah. No, it wasn't the Shelf of...
I said...
I'm going to kick myself when I go and find out what it was. Sorry, PJ, I did listen and I've
Backlog. Board game backlog.
Yes, backlog. Board game backlog.
Yeah.
So,
which I suggested they call it Schrodinger's Shelf.
Well, after listening to Meeple's podcast, I thought, yes, we've got to start playing some of those games that just sit on the shelf and we never get out because we think either, it's too much effort, the rules upkeep is too much, and it never gets to the table. And I thought, no, we've got to play these games. So we decided to play Dinner in Paris, which the first time we played, I think, was the time when we had also just stuck all the labels on and popped it all out.
Yeah.
And so it had taken a long time. So in my memory, it was like long setup, difficult to understand. Clearly, I mean, it must have been late at night or something, because when we came to play it, in the middle of the day on Saturday, I was like, well, this is easy.
Yeah, I think as soon as we watched the video and it was explained as it's a slightly more complicated version of Ticket to Ride. And as soon as I thought of it like Ticket to Ride, collecting sets of cards to be able to put down shops, to be able to pay money to buy terraces, as soon as I started thinking of it like Ticket to Ride, not to put people who hate Ticket to Ride, or dislike Ticket to Ride, not to put them off of Dinner in Paris, because Dinner in Paris is a really good game and it's nothing like Ticket to Ride. But as soon as you put yourself in the mindset of collecting cards, playing cards, putting out stuff, it unlocks the game for me.
I think also, I didn't get the ticket to... I still don't get the Ticket to Ride vibe, but I'm glad you did. I think that you thought it was quite take-that-y in the first game that we played, like stopping each other, whereas the second game we played, it wasn't quite like that. I can see elements of take that, but you can...
Oh, it absolutely can be, because you can just build your thing and then just start piling terraces in front of other people's shops, and then...
I mean, the only thing with that game is that you have to watch the end game, because it ends when you put 11 buildings out.
Yeah.
And we were just going, and then I counted up the buildings, and I was like, oh my gosh.
We had 12 buildings, didn't we?
Yeah, so we must stop the game. So you have to keep an eye on the wind conditions, I think.
Well,
but it was quite nice. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And then we got out Cape May, which again was one that we had played, quite a long time ago since we last played it.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed it the time we played. But again, I know in my head I made it out to be like, oh, that's quite there's quite a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's the setup, isn't it? Like Dinner in Paris, it's the setup. There's lots of bits.
Yeah. And Craig calls it the Monopoly, but good version, because essentially you're buying houses, you're building houses. As you move around this board, you can only move around the board in certain ways because there's arrows, and you're trying to build in different. So it's like a beach town. And the beach, the closer that you get to the beach, the more expensive the houses are. Yeah. You have to build businesses in order to get your income up, etc.
But what I like is there's points for the end game points. There's points for properties. So you're getting points for properties you built in the gravel. You're getting less points for ones you built in the gravel, then in the grass, then in the dirt, then on the sand. You're getting loads of points for the buildings. However, when it comes to majority of properties, if you've got a higher majority of buildings in the gravel, you get more points in the majorities. So it kind of counterbalances itself. So if one person decides to build everything in the beach, you can still technically win the game by building everything in those cheaper areas. And I like that. Yeah. It's not just very one-sided. And there's a bit of set collection where you can go bird watching.
Oh, yes. I did do well on the birds.
You did do well on the birds. And you can see the Hindenburg and an air balloon thing. It's good. I really enjoy that game. And I do like a game where instead of roll and move, which it could very much easily have just been a dice, you have a set of cards, 1 to 7, and you play a card. You have to move the exact number on the card. You can't move 6 if you play a 7. And you can't move back on yourself.
Money to move some of the
1 and 2 and 6 and 7. You have to pay money to be able to do it. I really like a card based moving.
You have to choose to refresh your cards, so you have to do that at an opportune moment. It's really good.
I really enjoy it,
and I think now having played it a couple more times, it probably will come to the table a bit more often.
I'd say we probably just need an insert for it, because it is one of those games. It's Thunderworks games, and as amazing games as they are, and they do, like Devere, they put a lot in that box. The box is the right size for the game, but just about.
It's a bit unorganised.
It's very unorganised.
And then we played Tiny Acrobats, which I think we got gifted by Mr. D Chips.
Yes.
For Christmas. And we hadn't played it, so we had a go, and that is good fun.
Yeah.
So you basically have got circus performers, meeples, and various bits of circus paraphernalia. I don't know, wooden beams, balls, etc.
Elephants.
And you have to try and stack them up in a given time. Yeah. Of course, they all fall over all of the time. And at one point, I think it was the third round, I actually couldn't make a performance because I couldn't get the thing to
It all fell down right in the last second. Yeah.
It's very tense, but it is good fun.
It's quite a nice little dexterity game, isn't it? It's pretty good. And literally every round is a 2-minute timer, so technically the game lasts 6 minutes.
Yeah, but it was fun. We played a bit of My City Roll and Build while we watched Eurovision.
Yep, that was always
good. Yesterday, before we went to work, we played a game of Expeditions, which we did manage to fit into an hour, which I was quite impressed.
We played a whole game of Expeditions in 1 hour. It can be done. 1 hour Expeditions.
The last sort of 10 minutes were a bit like, quick, move.
Yeah, the last 10 minutes were, I need to do this, I'm doing that.
But yeah, they were what we played.
Yeah, we played quite a lot, and
I'm glad we got some of the games that we've been meaning to get to the table.
Yeah.
For a while, because I do feel bad when they just sort of sit on the shelf and you're like,
and they just stare at you.
I know that I don't want to get rid of them because I know I do enjoy them, but it's finding the correct time or the right time when both of us want to play it and we're not too tired to sort of refresh ourselves on the rules. So I was quite pleased.
Yeah, definitely. And one other thing to mention is that this podcast, as always, is sponsored by rentshuffleandroll.co.uk. Have you ever heard of rentshuffleandroll.co.uk, Yemma?
I have.
Good.
Because they sponsored or ran the library for UKGE.
They are going to run the library in the Hilton.
Going to.
Again.
Amazing.
What great ways to segueing that in.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah.
Yes. So feel free to head to rentshuffleandroll.co.uk and use the code GITG50 to get 50% off your first month of board game rentals. Well, Rent Shuffle and Roll is a great rental service. I think it's just such a good idea. There are so many games out there, and everyone is just buying new, cull the new, shiny, buy the new ones, and then fill up your Calyx, and then end up with games on your shelf of shame for 7 years, Gareth. 7 years. 7 years.
I think what you ought to do is go to UKGE, see all the games, test,
as many as you can.
Or look and see which ones you're interested in. And then get the subscription with Rent, Shuffle and Roll.
That's it.
And then test them all out in the comfort of your own home at your own leisure.
Absolutely. And then there will be no more Shelf of Shame, because the Shelf of Shame is the shelf of Rent, Shuffle and Roll.
Yeah, their shelf.
Yeah.
They own the shelf.
And remember,
so they can have all of the shame.
That's it. That's the code. GITG50 for 50% off that first month. You don't feel shame because they feel it for you.
No, I think you've gone off.
I don't think we can have that tagline. That's
this
not.
Might be the end.
That's not the best. That's not the best. So, UKGE is only 3-ish number of weeks away, which is very exciting. It's the biggest and bestest board. Well, okay, it's the biggest board game convention in the United Kingdom. Possibly the best, arguably the best. Some people might say it's the best, some might not, but hey, it's one of the best.
It is a spectacle.
It is. It truly is. It's something. There is something there for everyone. There is. I've taken non-gamers.
If there isn't something there for you, then there is a problem.
Then what more do you want? Then you are not interested in the things that are there. Yeah, you like dice, you can buy dice. You like cosplayers, you can buy. You can't buy the cosplay. Don't touch the cosplayers, but there are cosplayers there. You like board games, we have board games. You want to test brand new games that are coming to Kickstarter, you can do that. Yeah. You can buy second-hand games. You can do so much at UKGE. You can see your favourite stars of YouTube channels and podcasts.
You might even play a game with them.
All things. You might even play a game with some of the most wonderful people on the internet sphere of board games. So let's delve into it. What sort of things do they have?
I mean, I think we should say that if you are a newbie to kind of UKGE, go listen to our first podcast about UKGE.
Yes.
Because that gives you sort of the overview. In this episode, we're sort of delving into the events and other things you can get sort of involved with. So if you're looking for an overview, just go to the other podcast, previous podcast, and then listen to this one because it'll give you more details. So, first of all, there's open gaming.
Yep.
Which is available at the Venue and at the Hilton.
Yeah. So there will be, as we said before, Rent, Travel and Roll will have the library at the Hilton. There will also be a library of games at UKGE in the NEC itself. There will be a hall with a huge amount of tables for open gaming. There is space upon space upon space. It does get busy. You might find that you haven't always got the space for open gaming. There's always somewhere to go. There's loads of space, and
you don't always have to go to the library to play, because a lot of people go and buy a game and then bring it to the table, or people bring their own games.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, a lot of people we know just bring bags of games, and they set up camp and they sit there in open gaming, and then...
Or you might decide you're going to have the Friday where you walk around, and then the Saturday you're going to do more open gaming. Absolutely. So you can organise your weekend however you like. Then you could go do some playtesting of brand new games. Games that maybe aren't even named yet. And you're just testing them out. That's
it. There's always one of the halls. I'm not entirely sure which hall it is or where it'll be, but there is a play test zone, which is a nice big area of there it is, stand 1384. And that is a play testing area for people that are bringing games to the market in the future. These might be games that are coming out in 2026, 2027. They might literally be a piece of paper and a dream. But you get to sign up and sit with these people that are designing games, test them, try them out, and who knows, you might be sitting in front of greatness, but that greatness is just an A4 piece of paper with a red meeple.
I think that's the most exciting thing about playtesting, because obviously all the games that we know that are on the shelf have obviously gone through playtesting.
Yeah.
And I think the wonder is, which gem are you going to find? And we know people like PJ, who's done a lot of playtesting for Apostocracy and things like that, who've seen the game develop over time, and that for me is quite exciting. So if you're interested in that side of things and seeing how publishers develop their,
it's always cool to see.
Develop their
it's one of the things I've always enjoyed about doing what I've been doing for the last 3 years. This content creation and social media side of things, I've just enjoyed, like Goose Island Games, getting the prototype for Raptor and eventually playing that and getting that in real life, or the Right Wrong game. There's a lot of cool games that have come from prototypes, and it's such a cool experience when you have a prototype of a game. Like we had the Life of the Amazonia, and we've currently got the Wonderful Creatures prototype from Bad Comic Games. That's him. That's what I said.
Yeah.
So
it's really interesting to see, that side of things. And we had, not from UKGE, but like things like Breaking Moon, where we were able to give some feedback, and you feel like you can have a little hand in the development of a game.
And games like Hero from Ely River, I know that wasn't in the playtest area, but it was very early doors when we played the original copy of that, and now it's a real thing on the shelf behind us. A real thing.
There is the Bring and Buy. I think we talked about this previously. You can take your games. Is it on the Thursday?
You can take them at any time.
Oh, right.
You can always drop off
the games that you wish to sell, and you can obviously peruse other people's wares and see which ones you would like to buy.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're looking for a bargain, a second-hand bargain, then the Bring and Buy is just an amazing wealth of opportunity. A lot of people do come on the Thursday when the press event is on, even if they're not part of the press event, because on Thursday you can still play games, even though you're not in the actual press event. But a lot of people use the Thursday to drop off games for the Bring and Buy.
Apparently this year you can only have 20 items for sale.
Yeah.
So that's a new thing that they've brought in, because the queue for the Bring and Buy was like awful.
Yeah, and people used to bring in cages worth of games, which was crazy. I would recommend, either try and remember to bring cash, because it is always cash only. So that's the only thing I think with the Bring and Buys that is quite annoying. You also can't take a bag into the Bring and Buy. You can't wear a backpack. So if you're you can just leave it outside, kind of thing. if you have someone, you'll have to go in on your own kind of thing, and then have a bag vendor outside. But that's definitely something worth doing. I enjoy going in the Bing and Buy to see what there is. There's bargains to be had. Normally the bargains go very quickly, but it's definitely it's one of the busiest things that they do.
Another thing that have we been 2 times now?
We've been 2 times now.
That we've usually walked past, never actually got involved with. But I feel like we should maybe take the children when we take them to have a look at this area. So it's the Living History Village, which is on the green just outside of the NEC. Yeah. And they are having an encampment from between 10 to 5 each day. And you can go and see the Dark Ages weapons display and skirmish, then the Romans and Britons weapon demonstration, I can't even say that, Hrothgar saga and Kiddivike. I don't know what that is.
One of them.
A gladiatorial combat on the Saturday and Sunday at 1:30 p.m. And Saxons versus Vikings at 3:00.
So there's basically a Viking or Roman village out there, isn't there? A lot of like role players, the LARP kind of type of people are out there. And it's quite cool to see them, and they're always camping out there. And when you're just walking around, you can just see them going around, they're doing their business. And on the Sunday, I think it's right at the end, they do a march through the halls.
Yeah, you just hear the horn.
You just hear the horn and the drum, and they do like a march of like a parade, essentially, of all their costumed folk walking through the halls of the NEC, which is really cool. It's quite a nice it's quite something nice and something different, because of, again, RPGs and LARPing and all this sort of stuff, it's all gaming. It's all part of the same kind of experience that we're in this hobby for.
Yeah. There are a great many seminars you can go that I think are on at the Piazza I was reading. I may have made that up. I think it's the Piazza when I was reading. And lots of different things. I read there was going to be one where they essentially take 2 words and then have to make a board game over the course of the chat. That was quite cool.
I saw one that was the psychology of the traitors and social deduction, which is like Cambridge University professors discussing like the psychology of social deduction games and stuff like that. There's a lot of really cool talks.
There are some costs to some of these events.
Yes.
And I would recommend that if you are interested in those kind of seminars, to go onto the UK Games Expo website, which is ukgamesexpo.co.uk, and find out that way which ones you're interested in.
Yeah, definitely booking in advance. It goes without saying, any of these events that we speak about, book in advance. Some of these events that we're even going to mention are already sold out. So apologise for that. But they go really quick. But there's always tickets to something. You can always enjoy stuff at the UKGE.
Then another thing to check out is, so we talked about the Vikings, but inside the building in the NEC there are lots of cosplayers. So there are photo opportunities at the main stage at 12:30 each day. Things like the Galactic Knights. There's a Who Zone, a Doctor Who Zone.
The Doctor Who Zone's really cool. There's normally a TARDIS and a Dalek that you can get in and stuff.
And there's usually some orcs from Lord of the Rings. And they might scare
small children and find it entertaining. But hey ho, that's life.
There'll be stormtroopers and Jedi Knights and all of that.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool cosplay and costumes. The costumes are great. There was the big Warhammer thing as well. There's a load of the Warhammer stuff. Cosplays are amazing. Like, there's a lot of incredible cosplays. And if you love those sort of things, then it's definitely worth checking them out and chatting to the guys. I do like them being around.
I think it adds to the atmosphere. Certainly when we take the kids, it's something else to look for and see, and keep your eyes peeled, as it were. Then let's move on to tournaments.
Okay.
So there are tournaments that are run throughout the weekend.
Yeah.
Many different ones. Lots of them have a cost to them. Some of them have a cost to them because you are going to get something. So I was reading, and some of them get you promo cards if you enter.
Yeah.
Some of them, like Star Wars, I think it might be Star Wars, or some of the those kind of card games, you get promos and things.
Yeah.
So just a few that I found. There is a Forest Shuffle tournament. So Forest Shuffle is quite new, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quite a new little game. Yeah.
Terraforming Mars tournament.
That's always very popular. The
Catan tournament.
Yeah.
There's an Ark Nova tournament. That's going to take forever.
Yeah.
One for Tri-Wing Games. There's a Carcassonne.
Nice.
You have to be 4 players, groups of 4 players.
That's all right.
There's the UK Crokinole Championships.
Nice.
Now, even if you don't want to get involved in these yourself, you can go to the hall where these are happening and have a little look. And I always find that quite interesting, watching other people.
Some of the big wargaming ones are done in near where the open gaming is.
There's a King of Tokyo UK Championship and a Hive tournament.
Nice.
So, yeah. Lots of things.
There's some cool stuff. There's some
There's some Digimon card game tournaments, Flesh and Blood card game tournaments, Lorcana convention events.
Yeah,
And obviously, the one that Craig will be interested in the most, an Unlimited convention.
Yeah, Star Wars Unlimited. There's a lot of events going on for those. Yeah, Lorcana and Unlimited will be very popular, I believe.
And then there are, I believe, 2 different types of mega games going on.
Yeah.
You want to say what a mega game is?
So
I think we might have talked about
it. A mega game essentially is a large-scale 20-plus player game, is it? Yeah. And it's basically a complete story that you are running. It's almost a most of a day thing to play, but you're all different roles and you're all doing different things to kind of solve a problem or a case or a war, something like that.
If you want to find out more about mega gaming, I suggest going to Becky blogs.
Yeah,
she's got lots of pictures and information about.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure she'll be running some of these. I
think they are running the Generalissimo is dead. Den of Wolves.
Yeah, I think Generalissimo is dead is on Friday.
Yeah,
and Den of Wolves is on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I believe.
Okay. There are some miniature tournaments as well.
Yeah.
So there's Rumble Slam presents the Birmingham Brawl.
Love a bit of Rumble Slam. Rumble Slam's a great little wrestling
There's
theme.
an Imperial Assault Skirmish tournament. Nice. There's a Star Wars Legion main event.
That's what we're talking
about. There's a Blood Bowl Tackle Zone Team Trophy.
Oh my gosh.
£72
to enter that. That trophy must be very expensive.
Wow.
But yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I might not enter that one.
No. Star Wars Shatterpoint.
Nice.
Marvel Crisis Protocol.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you were interested in any of those, then
in tournaments, if you're the master of the games and you want to be in tournaments or even want to watch them, pop along. 100% well worth it.
Another thing I don't know too much about, but I see people go off into a little cubby hole.
Disappear into a corner is like a secret cupboard.
You see like the signage for it, and I always think, oh, that'd be quite interesting. And then I'm like, don't know. So it is the Starship Simulator.
Yeah.
It says, take control of a spaceship and try to complete a mission with your crew at the Starship Simulator. 6 players select their role: engineering, science, communications, weapons, flight, and of course, captain, to battle aliens and make choices that could help save the galaxy. The Starship Simulator takes place at the Hilton Hotel's Kent and Sussex rooms. It costs £12 per player and it's an hour-long game. So I think you have to sign up for that one.
Yeah.
But I see a lot of people going there, and when they come out, they're raving about it.
Yeah.
So I think that's definitely
something
to try out.
Absolutely.
Apparently, there is also a giant risk. Oh, we saw
the giant risk. The giant risk is always there, yeah.
That's amazing. So it's 4 meters by 3 meters.
Yeah.
Wow.
Huge, great thing. It's very cool.
And they just play it throughout the weekend, don't they?
Yeah. Massive great thing with loads of minis on it as well. It's very, very cool.
There is some live entertainment, I believe. Yeah. So, anybody who is a fan of No Rolls Barred, they are doing a board game club live.
Yep, they're doing one on one on Friday, one on Saturday, one on Sunday. One of them is definitely sold out. But yeah.
What else have we got going on? The Dark Room.
Yeah. That's always very popular.
And there's a family-friendly version.
Yeah.
Werewolf Line.
Yeah, with John Gracie, which is always brilliant.
I hear a lot also about the Jolly Boat. That's a comedy show, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Which is always on every year, so that's good. And then something that I would love to get involved in, but I'd be too scared to actually try. Yeah. Is the Nightmare Live. Yeah. I loved that program when we were growing up, and I just think that sounds so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there are lots of D&D campaigns being run at the Hilton by different people. Yeah. Lots of RPGs that you can get involved in.
There is also the Judges Awards for the game of the convention or games of the convention based in categories, which are pretty cool. So, yeah, I think we should go through some of these and see who we think should or will win.
Should we make some predictions?
Let's make some predictions.
See
and then
if we can judge what's going to happen.
And I also want to hear your predictions, you listener folks, as well.
So, first of all, we have Best Abstract Game.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is between Lacuna, Noonatak, and Pyramido.
Yeah.
Now, I've only ever heard of one of those.
Right.
So, my vote will have to be on Lacuna.
So, Noonatek is a new shiny at Cosmos. Pyramido will be at Cold Springs, isn't it? Yeah, I think it's in Cold Springs, so the Asmodee side of things. I really like Lacuna. I feel like it probably will be something like Noonatak. It looks really cool. I think it probably will be that one. I'm going to go with that one.
You're going with Noonatak?
I'm going with that game.
Okay, I'm going with Lacuna. And after UKGE, we're going to see who was right.
We'll have a fight.
No, because it will already be decided. We'll just have to listen back and go, I was right, or I was wrong.
And then I'll fight you.
And then we have to eat our hats.
Oh, yum, yum, yum.
Best Accessory. An Atlas for Encounters and Monsters. The Noble Heist Adventurer Magnetic Terrain Set.
It's magnets.
And The Weird.
It's magnets.
Yeah, I'm going with the Noble Heist Adventure Magnetic Terrain Set, because that's the only one I understand.
Something I've learned about Instagram as well recently is if you've got magnets, you've got magnets. Because did you know Forbidden Sky, the new game from not Forbidden Sky, Fractured Sky from Ivy Studios, that one. Did you know that's got magnets? It's got magnets in the game. You'd never know it's got magnets in game from the fact that every single review I've ever seen online about it has got nothing to do with the game, just about the sodding magnets in the game.
Oh dear. Okay, I think we must move on.
But I love magnets.
I don't know what the magnet thing is.
Still got magnets.
Getting upset about.
It's got magnets.
Best board game.
Do they have magnets?
American style.
Is it magnets?
Is Go Ahead Punk, Redwood, or RuneScape Kingdom's Shadow of Elvarg.
So I do have to think to myself, is the Judges' Shortlist Awards, are they paid for by sit-down games? Because the same award last year went to sit-down games with Tuinaku, and now Redwood's in there.
Well, I think they just make games, Craig. I don't think they're paying for their...
Yeah, Redwood. That's Redwood.
I'm going to go for RuneScape Kingdom Shadow of Elvar.
Okay. It's Redwood.
It rolls off the tongue.
It does. It really does.
Best board game, Euro style.
Yes.
Pampero.
Oh, Pampero.
Windmill Valley.
That's the one.
Or Zanguo. I'm going to get these wrong. Zanguo, the First Empire.
Windmill Valley. It's Board and Dice's brand new shiny that they're bringing to UKGE for the first time ever. No one's seen it before, so it has to win.
But I like Sorry We Are French games, so I'm going to go Zanguo, the First
I like their games as well, and people have probably played that one, but that won't win.
I also like things like Icky and Bamboo, and so I'm thinking I might like that.
Maybe.
So I'm going to go Zanguo.
Is it shiny enough?
Uh-huh.
And new enough?
Best board game, strategic.
Ooh, strategic.
So, I don't know why they've got such complicated names. Cangaceros.
Yeah.
Cangaceros? I feel like you should say it with a Spanish.
Cangaceros.
Virtual Revolution or Voidfall.
It's Voidfall.
I think Voidfall.
Because that would be, again, the one I've heard of.
Yeah.
There seems to be a theme.
Best card game, a general card game.
Skullduggery. Skullduggery.
Timeline Twist.
Yep.
Or Trio.
Yeah, it's Trio.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Trio.
It's Trio. It's definitely the one that everyone's talking about.
Okay, best card game, strategic.
Oh.
After Us.
Okay.
Draft and Write Records.
No.
Pioneer Rails. I think After Us, like 10 times over the other two.
Yeah, I agree. I think Pioneer Rails could... who's voting for these judges?
Well, we can. You can go on to the UK Games Expo. You can go onto your Expo account.
Yeah.
And you can vote on the page.
Oh.
The award shortlist. So
then,
we are voting.
I think Pioneer Rails will probably win it, but I want After Us too.
Yeah, I'm going After Us.
Yes.
Best children's game. Dragon Dash by Cheap Bell Games. My Goldmine, Cosmos, or Search Party, Chaos at the Park. Well, hands down, My Goldmine.
Yeah, 100% it's My Goldmine.
And I wouldn't say it's just a children's game either.
But Search Party, Chaos at the Park sounds fantastic. What a name for a game.
Yeah.
To my mate, but My Goldmine, 100%. I must admit, the best game name for a game that I saw today that is available at UKGE is This Frog is Ruining My Dungeon Crawl. That is the name of the best
Frogs generally do ruin the dungeon crawl. But
what's up next?
Best dice game.
Oh,
Kapow by Wise Wizard Games.
Very good.
Monster 12.
Very, very good.
Cosmos or Spots.
It's bad dogs. I think Spots.
Best dice game. I don't know.
Out of the three,
I really like Kapow.
Out of the 3 games, 2 of which we own, the one that we don't own, I think
Spots.
We have played Spots, but Spots is it's the hotness at the moment.
I'm going Kapow.
Okay. Are you? Kapow!
Yeah. Best expansion.
Ooh.
So, Icky Akabono.
Nice.
Septima Shape Shifting and Omens.
Very nice.
Or War of the Ring, the card game against the shadow. I think Icky Akabono.
I think in Icky Akabono.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Best family game.
Very nice.
Dragon Keepers.
Malem.
Or Mycelia. Now, there is lots of different versions of Mycelia.
This is the Ravensburger one.
This is the Ravensburger.
This is the...
I'm going Malem.
I think Malem. I think it's Malem or Dragon Keepers. Dragon Keepers is being reprinted. It's the next printing available at the Cosmos stand at UKGE. So that's good. And it is meant to be very good. But Malem, it's hard to get hold of at the moment, but it's good. Okay. I enjoy it. So
maybe we'll be able to get hold of it at UKGE.
Let's go Space Cats.
Best gaming novelty.
Okay.
Meeple Coffee. 5 times tabletop gaming themed specialty coffee.
Interesting.
Or the Obi sweatshirt and hat. Or the Welcome to Arkham, an illustrated guide for visitors. Well, coffee gets my vote every time.
Coffee.
Oh, we're not disagreeing on many. Are we?
All right then. No, not coffee.
Best miniatures range. Carnival miniatures game. Dystopian Wars. Kodinka Battlefleet set.
Yeah.
Or Stargrave Scavengers.
Oh, yeah. 3 things that I know nothing about. Then
but you just pick one.
B.
Dystopian Wars.
Yep.
I'm going for Stargrave Scavengers.
Sounds good to me.
Just because I want to differ from you.
I like it.
Best miniatures rules.
Ooh.
Is it Codeblade?
Nice.
Mike Hutchinson's Hobgoblin.
Big fan of that one.
Or the Doom.
Oh my gosh, such a difficult choice. 3 incredible.
Well, I'm going to pick
rules.
one, and you have to go for a different one.
This is the top 3 rules that
the
they're
Doomed.
Possibly. You're going for the. Well, I'm going for Mike Hutchinson's Hobgoblin. It's his own little Hobgoblin he's got. It's like a pet. It's called Cyril.
The best party game.
Yeah.
Bangarang card game.
Bangarang sounds.
Double Connect.
Or
Sorry What?
Sorry what? Well, it has to be that because I just love to say that.
I'm going to go Double Connect.
Sorry what?
Best role-playing game.
Oh, that one where you go down a hill.
Is it? Old Gods of Appalachia,
Oh, yeah.
Salvage Union,
Mm.
or Warhammer 40,000 Roleplay Imperium Maldictum Core Rulebook.
Do you know what? I'm going to 100% say it's the Warhammer 40,000 Roleplay Imperium Maldictum Core Rulebook.
I'm going to go for Old Gods of Appalachia.
You would, because it's easier to say.
Yeah. You know, this could be a really bad quiz when you listen back to it in a year's time because you've gone back in time to the podcast and then somebody's doing a quiz and see if they can remember who wins these.
Yeah, exactly. I love it.
Best role-playing game adventure.
Oh,
Is it One Shot Wonders,
One Shot Wonders,
The One Ring, Tales from the Lone Lands, or Vaesen Lost Mountain Saga?
How do you lose a mountain?
I don't know, but that's the one I'm going for.
It's a whole saga about it. Oh, I've lost a mountain. I'm going to go for One Shot Wonders.
Okay. Best role-playing game expansion.
Oh.
Alien RPG Building Better Worlds.
Lovely, lovely.
Dragonbane Bestiary. Or Eldritch The Book of Madness.
I do love a xenomorph.
I'm going to go for Dragonbane Bestiary.
Alien RPG Builder Better Worlds.
All right. And the last category.
Oh, yeah.
Is best variant.
Oh, yeah.
Die of the Dead, the Offrender variant.
Lovely.
Dixit Disney. Or Pusheen, the stacking game.
It's got to be Dixit Disney. Dirty Dixit Disney. All day long.
I'm going to go for Pusheen, the stacking game by Alley Cat Games.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
So we'll see whether
we did any of that.
We did any of
that good stuff. I mean, that was good.
I would say, we've done another Whistle Stops tour, but hopefully you've got an idea of other things you can do other than go look at board games, which is the main thing that you're there for. Probably.
Yeah, I think stands that I would highly recommend people visit. Probably Hachette.
I did get some things.
Yeah, I mean, Hachette are always an incredible stand. They've always got so much fun. They're all so colourful. If you ever want to be taught how to play Stomp the Plank by an inflatable panda or After Us by a man dressed as a parrot, I mean, that experience you're not going to get. I mean, they get it every year at UKGE, but they're the most colourful, brightest, some of the friendliest people to game with.
Sorry, how do you finish?
I can be finished.
Oh, no, I didn't mean to interrupt.
What were you going to say?
I was just going to go on to the next one.
That's fine, go on to the next one.
I quite like Burley Games stand.
Yeah.
Family run, mathy type games.
Yeah.
Things like...
They do a lot of Sid Saxon
Take
games.
It to the Limit. Can't Stop. Is Mahi one of those?
Mahi's on there.
Yeah, those kind of games. So if you're looking for math games for children, head to Burley.
And they've got some cool, like, Kamisado, which is like the chess kind of sumo fighting chess pieces, which is cool. We've got Billabong, which is the jumpy kangaroo game, which is amazing. Another one would be Coiled Springs. They've always got a huge range of cool games out to play, as well as Giant King of Tokyo. Giant King of Tokyo is a huge highlight from UKGE to play. Giant dice, giant monsters, brilliant, so cool. Thames and Cosmos Games UK, huge range of games out at the moment. They've got some of the new games from Phil Walker Harding. They've got Cities. They've got the new deduction game Sand will be on there. There'll be Salt and Sea out. There'll be Dragon Keepers, as I mentioned. There'll be an exit game for kids exit game out there. There will be a lot of cool games. The White Castle will be out and about. There'll be a huge range of stuff. Also, on the Hachette stand, just forgot to mention that, you may well be able to get a little sample of the new expansion for Acropolis.
Ooh. I quite like the folded space stand for your inserts. So for any messy game boxes you have, and coming soon, Craig will be doing How to Tidy Your Box, the series.
It's How to Tidy Your Box, the series,
But
I'm looking at you, Wormspan.
The folded space inserts are great, and if you can pick up a few of those, it'll tidy up your box.
Yeah. The other thing about folded space, what makes them so good, is that they don't weigh a ton. You can make the foam insert, and then it's wonderful. Goliath Games will be there. Goliath Games have just bought Lucky Duck, and they've just bought Funko, so they're like nom 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 nom, eating up all the smaller companies now. So they're going to have probably a bigger stand. I just mentioned them. Asmodee will be there with Star Wars Unlimited and a huge range of Asmodee games. Zartu are going to be having the biggest shop they've ever had.
Because they didn't have a stall at Aircon, did they? So I think they've put all their money into UKGE and
and also all of their stock. Because if you go onto Zartu's website at the moment, everything is out of stock. Curious, if everything's out of stock, what are they going to be selling at UKGE? Osprey games are always really cool. They always do the Undaunted games, Village Rails, that kind of thing. Yeah, and not to forget the smaller.
Our friends at Singer Games are going to be there, having their own stall.
They do some cool games, sit-down games, as we mentioned also. Shirts and merch, the people who make the Get Into Games hoodies and T-shirts and Mrs. Get Into Games that we will be in and wearing. There'll be a couple of board game cafes there. The Dice Box will be having their franchise stand there. So if you are listening to this and thought, I know what I've always wanted to do, run a board game cafe, then you can see the guys over at the Dice Box to have a chat to. Our friend Chris from Unfringed Things will be doing multiple things. He will be showing off Molehill Meadows at UKGE and hopefully being able to grab a hold of a couple of copies of them. You will be able to get Zuli at UKGE. And also, if at a certain point of the day you head over to the Oink Games stand, you will be able to purchase and get a signed copy of his brand new Oink Games version of Zuli, which is not called Zuli, and it's slightly different, and it's in an orange box, and it looks very pretty. But yeah, definitely head over to him. Wise Wizard Games will be there showing off, I'm sure, more Robot Quest Arena this year, more Kapow, more Star Realms stuff, as always, which is always very exciting. So yeah, again, that's a stone in the ocean of the stalls and stands and people. Warhammer, Games Workshop, masses and masses and masses of that.
I think there's some big names, things like Waterstones and
Waterstones will be there.
But I always kind of I'm drawn to the people who only have like a tiny table.
Yep.
We got a game called Pixel by a guy who created it for his daughter, I think. It was like a little card game with pictures on. And I like the stories that, people tell you about how they made their game. There was one about pigeons last year.
Yeah.
And we spent quite a long time. It was...
Golden Donut Games.
Yeah, it was the child's,
lockdown.
COVID lockdown idea, which came to fruition. So,
cool.
Check out the smaller...
Stuff by Bez, she'll be there, as always, in bright red. And, of course, the Pandemonium Institute will be there, doing a big
If you want to play Blood on the Clock Tower.
If you want to play Blood on the Clock Tower.
Quick.
Book it yesterday, I would suggest, because it will
goes
sell.
Like hot cakes.
Hot cakes. Who has hot cakes? Do you like your cupcakes warm?
No.
No. What cakes do you like warm?
I like a tea cake more.
Is a tea cake a cake though?
Well, it's got cake in the name, so.
But it's bread. It's like a bagel. It's like bread, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let us know. Is a tea cake an actual cake? It's like a Jaffa cake, but that's not a cake. That is a cake. It's not a biscuit. But I don't think a tea cake's a cake. I think it's like a fruit loaf.
I hope that has helped you
work out whether you want a tea cake or not.
Wet your whistle into
very nice.
What you might like to experience.
I wasn't allowed to say moist at the beginning of the podcast, but you're allowed to say wet your whistle.
And
at
then
the end.
maybe you're going to go to the website and check out or buy some tickets for some things that you didn't know were available.
You didn't know,
or check out something.
How would you know?
Well, you do now because you listen.
You listened,
and if you listen all the way to the end,
you deserve a medal.
Well done. But yeah, so enjoy, and whatever you get up to, be sure to let us know, and we can get some shout outs on the podcast that I'm sure we'll do. The evenings of UKGE.
Yeah, perhaps. Definitely. Look forward to them. And remember, next week is going to be episode 20, an extra special episode, because it's the same as my age.
What a load of rubbish. Who does he think he is, this man?
I'm so glad you're speaking in third person. Anyway, thanks very much for listening. Enjoy your week. Hope you have a lovely time. Play some board games and let us know. And the best way you can let us know is by leaving a 5-star review on your podcast catcher of choice. I don't know how that's letting us know, just by clicking that 5-star review. But I'd like a 5-star.
Why don't you Instagram message us?
Yeah, Instagram message us at Get Into Games or at Mrs._Get Into Games. That's how we love to hear from you too. But yeah, leave them reviews. And on the Apple Music situation, Apple Music, if you are following us on the Apple podcast, Apple did an update. And I don't know if you subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, but if you could just make sure you're still subscribed to us. Because they did an update and it unsubscribed practically everyone from everything.
Oh, no.
So that's a fun time. So just make sure you do that. And then just leave a 5-star review and a lovely comment saying, Craig, you're wonderful. Rebecca, you're okay.
Oh, rude.
How rude. Anyway, we'll see you on the next time. Thank you very much for listening. Thanks for the reviews. Remember to go to rentshuffleandroll.co.uk, type in the code GITG50 for 50% off your first month. And remember to go to UKGE and play some events and do some board gaming things. That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Take a picture with us.
Take a picture with us. But,
secretly,
without us knowing.
Yes. How many pictures? Oh, I got really excited by that. I don't like having my picture taken. How many of you can take pictures of us without
squirrels?
Us knowing?
That
would be funny.
Sneaky photos. I love a sneaky.
The pictures we were taking of box meat.
Yeah, sneaky man.
I think we should start something. The sneaky Instagram pictures.
Yeah, of Instagram.
If you see an Instagrammer,
take a photograph of them, but don't let them see you.
But don't let them see you take a picture.
Never let them see you.
So it's like the alternative selfie.
Yeah.
It's going to be a thing.
Yeah.
And if you listened all the way to the end, then you're the only person who knows this.
Yeah.
So it's a thing between us, right?
I like the fact that you think one person at least listens to the end.
Yeah, Try-Win Games.
John!
And if you did listen to this, Try-Win Games, you need to let me know.
We're going to hear on Try-Win Time on Wednesday that you have to say the code number 3641. And well, no, John. Well, no. Anyway, thanks for listeing, and remember to get into games. Get into games. Yeah, that's love you. Bye. Yep. Bye.